Hello and welcome back to the Comic Literate Podcast, where we comically
and literally
review comics. I'm Ryan, also known as Comic Stan. I love comic books, but my co-host loves regular books, so I make him read comic books. Short episode this week. If you've seen the time, click on it. It's a short episode. Stuff's gone on in our lives.
Oh my God.
We're doing the best we can. I've got to edit this in between this and a family event later, and I was scared of passing on an illness to my co-host, who might pass it on to his pregnant girlfriend or one of the others, and it's been with scheduling difficulty. But the reason I say all that is, if it wasn't for the scheduling difficulty, we potentially would have read something else, but instead we've had the chance to get on the ground floor of the first in a couple of decades, the crossover of the two titans of the comic industry.
It's Marvel DC crossover day. It's the first ever one we've been a podcast for.
And it's the first one that's happened in decades.
Yeah.
So even if we had have been podcasting for decades, we might still have missed it. So it's like we've been around for the lunar eclipse or something.
Yeah.
Like, we were here when Halley's Comet. Like, we were here to talk about it.
And is this all we're getting of it as well?
No, there's a second part. So the way they've done it is, we are talking about, how somehow you still missed it, Batman Deadpool, right?
Yeah.
And the way it works is that Marvel are doing one. I think this is the right way around. Let me check just to make sure we've got everything correct.
Yeah.
So this is the Marvel one, which is Deadpool Batman. Yeah. And then part 2 is going to be the DC one, which is Batman Deadpool.
Of course.
So you know which one's which because they've put their guy first. And they've somehow all agreed it, like some kind of tense political negotiations between into a geopolitical debate, like a discussion to work out how to do things.
I imagine it's tense in the room when this stuff is negotiated.
I think they're having a bit more fun with it now. I think there's less of like a... Because it always ebbs and flows between like who's got the market capital or who's the market leader at any one time. It always goes back and forth and swings, Yeah. So I think at this point there's like, we're both going to make money from this. Most of the writers and artists like have worked for both of us. They jump in between. Like, it's not back in the day where it's like, we've got this person, we've got this one and whatever. What is interesting is so we'll get into the credits of this. Also, it's not just Deadpool Batman. There is an anthology of little stories that get shorter and shorter as they go along. So we're going to be talking about them each. The main bulk of it is Deadpool and Batman.
Yeah.
And what is interesting is, in terms of the credits, this is written by one Zeb Wells, who I'm pretty sure was the writer on Amazing Spider-Man, the one we really didn't like.
Right.
The one I liked at the time, but it got way worse after that.
Yes.
And is penciled by Greg Capullo, who I think is a mainstay of Marvel and DC, as far as I'm aware. The second part, I can't remember off the top of my head who will be drawing it, but the writer of the second part will be one Grant Morrison.
Oh, so it might actually be interesting.
Well, everyone was like, so Grant Morrison has written Batman before, which we definitely need to do some Grant Morrison Batman to see what that's like.
Yeah.
But a lot of people are like, oh my God, Morrison writing Deadpool. Like, that's going to be crazy. Especially because Morrison's done a lot of like fourth wall breaking stuff and never written for Deadpool.
Grant Morrison is slightly mad, aren't they?
Yeah. Look up, if you can, Grant Morrison talking about, I think it's hexes or sigils or something. Yeah. And I showed you the first few minutes of this, like, filmed on a VCR camera kind of thing, jumping up from behind a podium, just screaming, and then they just start talking about whatever bollocks
they were quietly insane, aren't they?
Not. I would argue not quietly.
No, they're not quiet about it. They are just insane.
Loud and proud insane.
Yeah.
But today we are talking about the one that's just come out, Batman Deadpool. Was it everything you hoped and dreamed it would be?
It was bland.
I thought it was a bit of fun. Like, that is my takeaway. I was like, this was a bit of fun.
No, it was a bit of fun.
I was not expecting Frank Miller, Dark Knight Returns, or Alan Moore, Watchmen. Like,
this is I mean, to be honest with you, I think this is going to be a continuation on a theme that we had last week, which is the Supergirl comic that I really liked for being a bit of fun. I mean, it's all these are ever going to be, isn't it? They are only ever going to be a bit of fun because there is going to be some really strict guidelines from DC as to what Marvel can do with a Batman comic and vice versa.
I think they actually pushed the boat out a little bit in that kind of stuff. I think they did a couple of things here, which I as a reader was a bit like, oh wow, they went there. Like, things like nothing blew me away. But I was like,
shall we start with the art?
Yeah, because the art is interesting.
I think it looks good.
I think it's, I tell you what it is. It's reminded me way more, maybe because this is the Deadpool comic.
Yeah.
It reminded me of 90s Deadpool specifically.
Yeah, totally. But 90s Deadpool rocked.
Well, the way he looks in it, like it's a bit like, I mean, it's modeled mostly after, God, what's his name? Can't remember. The one who did the really awful Captain America, Rob Liefeld.
Rob Liefeld,
who is a very bulky character design. The Deadpool kind of started off. Oh, no, it was Fabian Nicieza who actually did the design. But Rob Liefeld was known for, like, they have to be big and bulky and they have to have a million pockets all over their body.
Yeah.
Like, that was all his characters. But it looks kind of like the 90s Deadpool specifically. And I'm surprised they went to that Deadpool for this.
Not the most recent.
Yeah, or even like the noughties one, which where all the memes are from. So that's what kind of most people know him
but
from.
90s Deadpool looked great.
It looked interesting. Like, it looked like Deadpool was kind of slightly menacing in a way. But in terms of content and stuff, I think it's very modern day Deadpool-esque.
I think it's interesting making a bulkier Deadpool because it almost sort of matches him up to Batman more closely.
A little bit, yeah.
And you'd think you'd want a leaner Deadpool, so he didn't, because Batman at his best is bulky. I like a bulky Batman.
We see a shirtless Bruce Wayne at one point, and he's very muscular.
Big lad.
As we would expect.
Yeah, big lad. But again, I think all of the best iterations of Batman are quite bulky, comic book-wise.
I mean, one of the biggest ones, Dark Knight Returns, Frank Miller.
Which we'll talk about in a couple months.
Yeah, which we will. The girthiest Batman symbol you'll ever see.
Yeah.
It's literally just a big black space, and then right at the edge of it, it's a black rectangle, and then right at the edges, just little bits to show it's a wing and ears. But yeah, this Batman, I think, was mostly a stereotypical Batman, classic blue and grey kind of design.
Yeah.
Not as much black, but yeah, overall.
But it all looks, I mean, I think the thing with it is, it was quite clearly drawn on Le Computer, and it's very nice and very glossy. Yeah. Very glossy, very pretty.
It told the story, and I understood what was happening.
Yeah, but no, it's very modern, isn't it? But it's a really nice, glossy, Marvel House-style, comic book style that is very readable, very legible, and Batman particularly looks great in it.
I tell you what I always like looking at, like, they've got the modern Deadpool without his mask look.
Yeah, no pupils.
Yeah, because they messed around with that for a while, didn't they? I think the no pupils thing is how he normally looks. I think sometimes his eyes are yellow, but yeah, I think most of the time he has no pupil. I don't know if that's specific. I mean, right here, we've got him next to a Batman who famously does not have pupils when he wears the cowl for some reason. But I don't think with Deadpool, it's hard to say because, I mean, one of the normal characters, you got Gordon with his glasses. He's got pupils behind them. So
no, everyone else has pupils, right?
Yeah. Well, no, except Batman with the cowl on.
Yeah, but with the cowl off, Bruce Wayne also has pupils.
And for some reason, Deadpool, without the mask on, also doesn't have pupils.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah.
Sorry, it bothered me the first time I read it.
Yeah, and maybe that is meant to be. Maybe he genuinely doesn't. Maybe the character's not meant to have pupils.
How does he see?
He's mutant powers. How do any mutant powers work?
His mutant powers don't give him magical sight that he doesn't need light going into his eyes to achieve, Ryan.
You sound like me now. How are the turntables?
This is going to be a short, isn't it?
I don't know, because it's very inside knowledge short. It's like, this guy sounds like this guy. People are like, who are either of these people? But yeah, no.
It's us. It's Comic Stan and Jamie from the Comic Glitter podcast.
Don't you know?
Did you not get that from the fucking thumbnail? Like, Jesus.
Yeah, but if it's sure they don't see the thumbnail.
At the end, they do.
Yeah, but they're asking before the end.
Put the thumbnail in at the start.
If they've got to this point, if this is all a short, they've started it already. And there is no thumbnail.
I'm sorry, the pupils bothered me.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. I get it. It's one of those things. I'm so used to seeing Deadpool without pupils. Like, I'm only realizing it now. But
so is that part of the thing then?
I think it's been all the Deadpool we've read. He hasn't had pupils. He's just not been drawn that way. And I don't think he legitimately doesn't have pupils. I think it is a design choice in the same way that Batman with the cowl on doesn't have pupils. It's a design choice. Maybe it just looks cooler. Maybe it just saves the artist a little bit of time. But they just don't have to do one little thing every time they see him. You know?
Yeah.
Like, to speculate, we don't know, but
I think that should be a Comic Stan video.
Well, why doesn't Deadpool have pupils? Or why some characters don't have pupils?
Mostly because I need the answers.
Yeah,
I don't want to do the research.
No,
right?
no, I'll do the legwork.
But I know somebody who has a YouTube channel where he does deep dive.
Deep diners.
So, free promotion on the podcast for the YouTube channel. Why the fuck not?
Yeah.
I know somebody who does deep dive animated explainer videos about comic books specifically.
Say they're animated. I pieced together random bits. I collaged the internet into a video, basically.
I quite like your animation style. I quite like your videos.
Oh, I like my videos also. I just wouldn't go so far as to call them animation.
I don't know what else I'd call them.
Ramblings of a madman.
It's moving images on a screen.
Yeah,
that isn't like
it's collaged video. I think that's probably the best
collaged video. Yeah, which I would still call animation.
Oh, so I personally wouldn't have used that word to describe it. I think animation to me is more like making a character or characters move by, like moving an increment of their body each time to make something.
I mean, I see that. But no.
Maybe it's a limited view.
This is very pointedly a video that I would like to see you make because I want the answer. I don't necessarily know that it's a good idea for a video. I just want the answer.
I think it'd be fun. Like, let's see what happens. So, art-wise in this, I think 90s Deadpool style, Batman, take from any kind of point, like maybe 90s style, I guess, as well.
No, I mean, it's almost a little bit, Adam West Batman with the grey and blue.
Yeah.
But a kind of, I mean, again, it's very much a modern Marvel look at a classic Batman character design. And I like it.
Yeah.
I like it very muchly.
And I would also go so far as to say it's like a Marvel interpretation or DC interpretation or whatever. Like I said earlier, I think writers and artists, they jump around so much.
Yeah.
And maybe sometimes they're like, what do you want me to do? Like, do you want me to do someone else's style? Or they're sometimes like, I've done it this style. And Marvel and DC are like, great, like, whatever.
It's done, we can sell it.
Yes, exactly. There's such a sharing of talent across the two. It's almost... With the house style, I think, just get modern day especially, it just gets to a point where it's like, we're doing the same house style, really.
It does look very Marvel-y to me, though.
Yeah, that's fair. I think for me, just the yellow voice bubbles, that screams Marvel to me because I've only ever seen them in Deadpool. Yeah. So maybe that's a little bit of it. But yeah, I think that's as much we can say about the art. Like I said, I was fine with the art. I haven't got as many more to say. Talking about the story of it, though, I thought it was fun.
It was fun. It just didn't have a lot of substance.
No, no substance. But I did not come here for substance. I didn't think we were going to get amusing about like the moralities of Deadpool versus Batman. I thought it was clever in a cute way. You know, when something like something happens, like that's clever, but I don't want to call it smart. But
and again,
cute.
The charm of this is seeing Deadpool and Batman and Captain America and Wonder Woman in the same panel, right?
Yeah, and we've had panels like them before. I think they did a good job of using the dynamics of each character to bounce off each other. So,
but again, we have seen these crossovers where they have done something really special with it.
Oh, you're talking about Batman Elmer Fudd?
I am talking about Batman Elmer Fudd.
I feel like if it's written by Tom King, it's an anomaly. Like,
but
it's not
that fucked harder than it had any business doing.
Yeah.
And there is no legitimate reason that this couldn't be as good as that, and it isn't.
I think the fact that it's not written by Tom King is the reason. Like, again,
he's not the only good comic book writer.
No, but unless you get one of like what we would agree are like the maybe top 10 who are writing nowadays. Yeah. If it's not any of them, because potentially they could have put out, because remember they said behind the scenes of DC, they're like, we're doing DC Looney Tunes crossover, pitch us your ideas.
Yes.
So they're relying on a writer to have an idea.
Yeah.
And maybe, pure speculation, if they don't get any ideas, or enough ideas,
they end up making this.
Well, then they'll just go, right, you do Batman Deadpool.
Yeah.
And they'll just give it to her, and the writer's like, right, what can I do with this? Yeah. But not, I think, as we know from that Batman Elmer Fudd one, Tom King was like, I had a vision of Elmer Fudd hunting Bruce Wayne Batman, and he said, I'm hunting billionaires.
Yeah.
Or however he said it. And then he was shocked that DC were like, yeah, do that.
Yeah, that's great. That's cool.
But he conceived the idea and was then passionate about it and made it what he wanted.
It came out of a strong core concept. Yeah, exactly. I get that.
And I think we'll have a lot more to say about the substance of the following story after this.
Yeah, right.
So, and that's what I mean. I think there is, I would bet money on it, the ones being more inspired, being a writer's idea.
Yeah.
And ones like this being like, we have to do Deadpool and Batman. They are two very popular characters who haven't interacted before. It's an easy moneymaker. We need you to write this.
The one I'm most excited to talk about is Captain America Wonder Woman.
Yeah, it was great.
Because I loved seeing them together.
Yes, and we will get to that. But there is some funny stuff. Not just funny, but I think, like I say, how they present the characters. Deadpool is talking all the time, which was a given. I like how Bruce Wayne and Batman are just stoically bouncing, not even responding to him in very short bursts. Yeah. So that was, I think, a given. Like anyone would write that generally. I think where it gets interesting is when they introduce the Joker aspect, because the things that I found were funny beyond Deadpool's obvious like masturbation jokes and things standard. Like that was when they realized when Batman's like. So one thing that I didn't expect them to do and they did was Deadpool calling out Bruce Wayne for being a billionaire.
Yes.
And Bruce Wayne having no response to her because Deadpool's like, yeah, you probably, you're a billionaire. I've seen your name all over the place. Like, what the fuck have you got to do with it? And Bruce Wayne's like, I'm not that kind of billionaire. And Deadpool points to a picture of Alfred and goes, who's that?
Who's that guy? Have you really never had him kill someone for you?
No, it was like rinse out the blood and spilled martini from the back of an Aston Martin or something.
Yeah, rinse the blood off the back of an Aston Martin.
Yeah.
Because essentially he just turns up in Gotham and says, right, there's this rich guy. He'll probably need someone killing.
Yeah, literally.
Let's go.
So the story is shit, but I think it's fair to say most people, including myself, aren't here for the story. We just want to see what the interactions.
I mean, it's funny that really the story is largely similar to the Elmer Fudd one.
Yeah.
Where the character out of place turns up and their job is to hunt the Batman.
Essentially, yeah. And then what I thought was funny was what was interesting to me was a representation of like readers, people who are introduced to the Batman character in the way Deadpool is here. When Bruce Wayne is describing Batman as a concept to Deadpool's like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I think, but then when Deadpool is then actually meeting Batman, he immediately goes, oh my God, I get it now.
And it's very intimidating.
I think that's a really good allegory for just normal people in reality. If you are described Batman, like this is what he is, this is what he looks like, you'd be like, that sounds ridiculous. But when you experience Batman, like see him actually in like read him in a comic, see him in a film, play him in a game, then you're like, this is actually really cool.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of exposes the juxtaposition of the concept of Batman and the experience of Batman.
Yeah, I can get behind that. I can appreciate that.
And they do it pretty bold and on the nose, but I still thought it was fun anyway. But then, as I said, we then get to the Joker aspect of it. And I think that's where it gets really fun, because then Batman's like, well, we've got to find the Joker. He's stolen all these chemicals. He's going to make Joker gas. He's doing Joker stuff. And he could be at one of these locations. There's like a bunch on a map. Deadpool's like, well, if I was picking, I'd go that one because it's right near the carnival and I get like hot dogs and stuff nearby. And Batman and Gordon are looking at each other like, do we have a crazy guy who understands crazy?
Yeah.
And the concept of Deadpool can predict Joker's actions because he's just as, if not more crazy than the Joker. That's the stuff I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's fun.
That's the fun stuff. I'm like, you put the pieces together and that's how it fits.
And then he starts talking about secret layers and he's like, yeah, caves, man. Like, you need to look at the caves because that's where the secret layer is going to be.
But then it's intelligent as well because
Deadpool's the moon.
He said, people like me love caves like that, and it's on a full moon. Because he asked, like, I thought it was going to be like, is there going to be a werewolf in this or something? Yeah. And I was trying to, like, literally thought about werewolf characters to do with Deadpool. But then he says, when the moon is full, the tide is low, and then you have more access to parts of caves, and you can hide stuff when the tide returns. Like, so it's actually thought about. Like, Deadpool is actually a professional mercenary, and
well, he is a professional merc. He's just a bit insane and very mouthy.
And great joke right at the top, which I'm Deadpool, the merc with a mouth. They call me that because I talk, and for no other reason. And anyone who says differently is lying, or I was drunk. That was some good Deadpool batter.
Yeah,
which is rare these days.
Yeah, so, increasingly so.
Yeah, and then Deadpool tricks Batman, but Batman actually always wanted to be tricked because he wanted to, classic Batman. I was always in control, like classic Batman. And then we see Joker and Deadpool interacting. And I thought there's a very interesting panel where Joker's talking earnestly about why he's brought in help, which he rarely ever does. Turns out there's a mirror that he got someone as crazy from him. It's like, there's someone from a different universe. Like, they bothered to explain it for a little bit. And I was like, fair enough. But Joker apparently done some introspection, little therapy, and he says, turns out my brain is a neurospicy dopamine goblin with task paralysis and a lack of object permanence. I was like, who does that remind me of?
So basically the Joker has ADHD.
Aggressive ADHD. Riddled with it, some would say.
He's riddled with it. I am fucking riddled.
Yeah. And then I think it gets very fun because Batman being caught by the Joker and secured plays on Joker's obsession with him. And it's like, actually, Deadpool's more crazy than you. And I could actually see myself having like a lifelong battle with him where we get so absorbed with each other. And then Joker's like, Deadpool, I need you to leave. It's just me and my nemesis, you know. Deadpool's like, actually, I really like that. Like, earnestly. Like, Batman was tricking him. Deadpool's earnestly like, I think me and him could have like a real lifelong nemesis kind of situation where we both get so obsessed with each other where we lose the lines of the relationship and become more reliant on each other because we're the only things constant in each other's lives. And Joker's like, genuinely like, someone's gone up to him. He's like someone has approached him and said, can I have sex with your wife? Like, that's the Joker. He's like, how dare you do
How
this?
dare you steal my nemesis?
Exactly. And that's, by that point, I was like, this has been so fun. Like, they've used the characters very well with each other. Joker set up one of his classic, the Joker gas will release.
Yeah.
Unless someone presses the button, but that's going to explode, so they're going to die. So what are you going to do, Batman? And Deadpool's like, oh, I've got a healing factor. I'll do it.
Yeah.
And Joker's like, what the fuck? I worked so hard on this.
There's not that many heroes with healing factor in DC, though, are there?
No, I think a lot of them have like a little bit, but I don't think any of them are known for as much of a healing factor as like Deadpool and Wolverine are.
Yeah.
And that's kind of that's why I've always been more of a Marvel guy. Like, I like those lesser known power or like lesser obvious powers, but then they make for cooler characters, as opposed to DC is very much a lot of super strength, flight, laser eyes, super speed, or they're genius billionaire. But yeah, I thought at the end of this, like, Batman had earned a little bit of Deadpool had earned a little bit of Batman's respect. Yeah. He's like, well, you've been an absolute insane arsehole this entire time, but you saved Gotham. And that puts you really high on my list of things.
Yeah, totally.
But he's like, get the fuck out of Gotham right now. And Deadpool's like, yeah, I'm going. And then as soon as Batman drives off, he's like, maybe I'll have a look around, actually.
Yeah.
He's like, to be continued.
He just fucks off and does some sightseeing.
Yeah. I like as well, Deadpool got hit with the Joker gas and gets the fixed Joker grin.
Yeah.
But he's like, I'm all right, my healing factors, well, I'll be fine. And Batman's like, you are still grinning. Like, you are definitely being affected by this. But yeah, again, overall, it was fun. I think they used the character dynamics really well. Normally, there's a thing with these kind of crossovers where the heroes cross over because it turns out two of their villains have crossed over as well. Like Batman, Deadpool doesn't really have villains to it. No, not really, no. Like, non-notable ones. Like, I know some of his villains, but that's because I've read a shitload of Deadpool.
You really liked Deadpool for a long time.
I would not begrudge any just comic book fan be like, you don't know Deadpool's villains? Yeah. Like, I wouldn't ever have that. But so because of that, I think that's what pushed him to be like, okay, which villain of Batman's would work well with Deadpool? It's like, the Joker, obviously. I mean,
Kane is a big one, isn't he?
Kane?
Or is it Abel?
Abel?
There's one of them that has like a biblical sounding name, big guy, robot body.
Deadpool's Ajax.
Yeah.
He's from way in the beginning.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Are you talking about him from the first Deadpool film?
No. From one of the comics that we read from the 90s.
I'm surprised we read him in that. If I'm thinking of the correct one, I'm probably actually thinking of someone else.
I am thinking of someone called Kane.
Are you thinking of the guy with did he have a nose thing? Like, yeah. I vaguely remember him, yeah. Like, he turned out to be a villain later on, but he definitely wasn't featured as much. Ajax was a different guy. He was like represented the people who gave Deadpool his powers in the beginning.
Yes.
Yeah, I vaguely remember. I could not tell you the name, so it might be Kane for all we know, potentially. But yeah, I think they did a good job of just, matching these characters, having them interact, very bold-facedly putting up the Joker-Batman relationship and mocking it.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
that was what you needed from a Deadpool thing. Is like, is he going to mock and make fun of not just the Batman character, literally, but like the ethos of Batman and the character.
And it did, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so in that regard, I think it's successful.
Did what it needed to do.
Yeah, totally.
So, now move on to why I think you'll be doing more of the talking on this one, the Captain America Wonder Woman crossover.
I mean, ultimately, I just enjoyed it. Like, I just liked seeing Diana and Steve hang out.
Yes. And for what it's worth, this one was actually written by one Chip Zdarsky. which might explain why it's a bit kind of deeper kind of story, you know?
Well, given that I'm going to end up doing a lot of the talking here, what did you think of the story? Run us through it.
Also penciled by pencil color Terry Dodson. I thought it fit the tone of these characters perfectly.
Yeah.
Like with Deadpool being in a Batman one, it was a lot of laughs and Batman saving the day in Gotham. I think Chip had a harder job on this one to like which characters, how do they cross over?
Because they're both naturally much more earnest characters, aren't they?
Yes, and I think they did a really good job by having, the framing of the story alone, what I think was a really good idea, where it's them in World War II getting to Hitler's bunker, and that, like, what happens in that situation. Then it also has them spanning a new universe where Marvel and DC are just like interlinked. So that, like, it's always been a joint universe, and how they've interacted over the years past this World War II point, going to the point of like fighting Thanos and like Green Lanterns there. And God, what was there? There was seeing a particular character, seeing Wonder Woman fighting Galactus, like things like that. I was like, that's wild. It shouldn't be because it's a crossover, but just
it's
seeing
a strong core concept, isn't it?
Exactly.
I think this one was more substantial. It had a much stronger core concept. And again, I just fucking love Steve Rogers.
Yeah. And Wonder Woman was great in that it shows maybe Captain America's a more popular character like in modern times because, MCU films and everything.
Yeah, maybe.
I think they did a good job of being like, everything you like about Captain America, Wonder Woman's got as well.
Equally true of Wonder Woman. I think it's really interesting because Steve Rogers would not approve of Wonder Woman's creator.
Oh God! Well, like we've said before, I think Steve Rogers was a bit of like live and let live, you know?
Yeah, well, so he'd have looked at William Moulton Marston and his wife and his girlfriend and their children and their very non-traditional family setup and gone, you know what? You guys aren't hurting anyone.
Yeah, I think what Captain America would live by would be, if you're not hurting anyone, like, fine. Like, that's...
Do you know, though, that the wife and the girlfriend both outlived him?
Yeah,
they stayed together until both of their deaths.
Yeah, as I said, they had shared children, like, by proxy through Marston,
so the girlfriend had helped them raise the wife's children. I don't think he had any children with the girlfriend. But I don't think the girlfriend was really as much his girlfriend as his wife's girlfriend, I think is the more relevant point here.
As far as I remember, when we looked up, I think he did meet her independently.
Oh, no, everyone was into everyone.
Yeah.
But the wife and the girlfriend were particularly into each other.
I think it's hard to measure something like that. I think the best thing to go by is the fact that after he died, they did stay together for years after. But it could have been equal, like a three-way romance when they were all alive. For all we know. I
mean, what a thing to have as a couple, though, a shared memory of your partner that's passed away.
Yeah.
It's quite powerful stuff, isn't it? I just think it's really interesting that there are so some people have made arguments that he was into BDSM. I don't know how true that is.
I think he was into, as far as I know, from, again, what little research I did when we last talked about it, I think he was coming from an aspect of literally like female superiority. Like, that was his kind of thing.
Yeah, but he wasn't into like BDSM. Like, no. People have argued since his death that he was, but I don't think he was.
Yeah.
But what he did was create a very scantily clad, very powerful female character who has a truth whip.
Yes.
And that is
lasso, not a whip.
Yeah, a truth lasso.
A whip would have been like, you're really not beating the allegations here. A lasso is a little further.
But it's just pretty hot, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
like, fucking come here and hit me with your truth lasso.
You don't get hit by a lasso, you get restrained by it, which does not help things. Come
here and restrain me with your truth lasso, you Amazonian woman.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Exactly. But yeah, talking about the story again, I thought it was very interesting, speaking of the lasso. So to give a brief summary of the only part that's really important, I think, is what's happening in the World War II part.
Yeah.
Essentially, they've got to the bunker where Hitler is, and they don't make that clear until like later on.
Right.
Captain America is just holding a gun at someone, but then he talks about this guy's the reason my friends have died, whatever. And he's almost, at the point of killing this guy. And Wonder Woman, she's talking out a little bit. She's not saying like, don't do it, but she's a little bit like, are you sure about that? What does her point? And again, the smart use of characters and how they work with each other. she puts the lasso on Captain America and she doesn't restrain or anything. She just asks, do you think this is right?
Yeah.
And Captain America cannot possibly sanction this, and he recognizes that this is just his own seeking vengeance.
Yeah.
It's not right to kill this person. And he puts the gun down and stops. So Wonder Woman's, she's not talked him out of it, but she's smartly used his own ethics to stop him from doing it. And then Hitler's like, fuck this, I'm gonna get absolutely rinsed after this, and just grabs the gun and kills himself. Yeah. And then afterwards, Captain America's like, I'm glad I didn't do that. So
I'm glad I didn't kill him, yeah.
And then the focus becomes on their relationship. And Captain America, like, then in the future again, talking about, you inspire me, and she's like, well, you inspire me. He's like, well, we inspire each other. Like,
I mean, I think this is a really logical sort of meditation on what those two characters would have been like had they been in the same universe.
Yeah.
They would have gotten on.
Yeah, absolutely.
They would have been great friends. They have a very similar moral compass.
They would have recognized the good in each other.
Yeah.
And that's
because they are the best people in their relative fictional universes.
And they're both people out of time or place. Like Wonder Woman, she's got home on Themyscira, but she lives in the world, in mostly America, I think, but, you know, in the modern world.
And Captain America's from a time that doesn't exist anymore.
Exactly. So because you could connect either of them with, like, Superman, if you're talking about just, like, being a beacon of hope and ethics or whatever. But Superman is also, like, he's got the farm that his parents live on that he visits, and he's got a home in the world and stuff, and he's defending his home. Cap and Wonder Woman, they are living their ideals even though they have less of a connection to the place that they operate. Like, Cap could be like, I used to live in Queens. It's like, not the Queens, or was it Queens or Brooklyn? I always get confused because Spider-Man's from Queens.
Cap's from Brooklyn.
Yes. So it's like, it's not the Brooklyn you grew up in, like, which is interesting in itself.
Brooklyn has changed in the intervening 70 years, Cap.
Exactly. But yeah, I think they have a lot to connect them to. And yeah, they would be, I think this is an accurate portrayal of what they would be like.
Yeah.
And the thing with writing this stuff as well, no one can really say, like, this character should be like this. But I think the good job is Zdarsky has written these characters in a way where we've gone, that makes total sense.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
That fits perfectly.
Yeah, no, it was so cool, wasn't it?
Yeah. So, following that, very fun one. That was the Krypto the dog and Jeff the shark.
So,
was this your favorite?
I'm going to be honest with you. This is one that I paid the least attention to.
I mean, fair enough. There's barely any dialogue. I don't think there's any dialogue in it.
I think it's a really interesting concept.
So, this one was actually written by Kelly Thompson. So
we are familiar with her.
Yes, great Poison Ivy run, Birds of Prey, which was a really great comic. She's done a lot. She's a mainstay of, like, modern, you know, and the Wonder Woman, the Absolute Wonder Woman, which I think was the best one Absolute series.
The thing with the Krypto, so the shark.
Yeah. So explaining the shark.
I don't know who Jeff the Shark is.
Yeah. So Jeff the Shark has become a very important character in literally the past 5-ish years or so, because he actually, I'm almost certain about this. I might be wrong. I'm reaching in my memory palace for this. I'm fairly certain he was introduced in the Deadpool comic, and I think the plot of it was Deadpool became the king of the monsters in New York. Like, there's a, like, underground monster sea. He became the king of them, and then they took over Staten Island, I think.
Right.
And people were kind of like, fuck, bloody, it's one thing after another. Monsters taking over Staten Island now. Like, my commute's going to be a nightmare tomorrow. Like that, like, it was that kind of reaction to her. And of Deadpool just hanging out with these monsters and the story that was going on, there was just a little shark. They're like, I think, and he was like, oh, that's Jeff the Shark. Like, as in he'd named it Jeff.
Yeah.
And I think people generally like, this Deadpool comic's weird, but we love Jeff the Shark.
Right. So Jeff the Shark is a fan favorite.
Yeah. And since then, what should have just literally been a one-off joke about Deadpool being like, oh, this shark is my, like, sidekick / pet now while I'm king of the monsters. I don't know what happened between A and B, like what actually happened between, but now he is the pet or sidekick of Gwenpool, which is the Gwen Stacy Deadpool, like, amalgamated character. Right.
So I love this because it reminded me of the shorts that run before Pixar animations.
Yeah, like a little Looney Tunes-esque, or what's the other one? Like a Disney, like just a little short of, like, here's some characters and a fun thing happens. There's no dialogue. Yeah,
but I thought it was. I mean, again, I thought it pushed the boundaries of what a comic book can be. and what a superhero story can be. And again, we love any glimpse of Supergirl in this house. Like I'm a fan of Supergirl, aren't I? Yeah, I mean, I thought it was sweet and cute. It was cute and fun.
I think it was especially great in the pacing and arrangement of this comic. You had the funny and dark Deadpool Batman.
Yeah.
Then you had the very earnest,
serious,
and grand but Captain America, Wonder Woman, and then you bring it in again with Krypto the dog and Jeff the Shark play volleyball.
Yeah, in the snow,
and have to go home for dinner.
Yeah,
presumably they're in like the North Pole because that's near where the fucking God damn it, the Fortress of Solitude. That's what I shot. Yeah, but yeah, and then they just go home for dinner, and that's kind of it. So yeah, it was a bit of fun. A good variety of stories within this whole kind of thing. Next we get a very run-of-the-mill, very by-the-numbers, I would say, crossover between Daredevil and Green Arrow.
Is this what Green Arrow always looks like, with the big blonde goatee?
Yes, he is a very on-the-nose Robin Hood-esque character.
Right, yeah. I just think that Marvel's version is better, unfortunately.
And by that you mean you're referring to
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye, yes. Which they make a joke of it in this because Deadpool's like Hawkeye, and he's like, I don't know who that is, brother. But this was, interestingly enough, written by Kevin Smith.
I'm seeing Al Ewing's name there as well.
Al Ewing wrote the one after this.
Oh, right, okay.
But this was written by Kevin Smith with artist Adam Kubert, and I think
the Kevin Smith.
The Kevin Smith, yes.
What the actual fuck?
Yeah. He's written comic books before.
Anything good?
I don't think so. I think that stuff I don't think has been well received.
We should review some Kevin Smith at some point.
We can do some Kevin Smith. I'll see if I can find what his like best stuff is.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's definitely not made enough of an impact that people are like queuing desperate for him to get back to writing comics.
Yeah.
And I think I can tell somewhat on this because mostly it is stereotypical tropey superhero puns. It's Daredevil's fighting the Hand, Green Arrow's fighting the League of Assassins, and they come do like the back-to-back bumping into each other, like, whoa, like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And then they just basically make quips at each other. Like Daredevil's like, oh, you're Hawkeye. And Green Arrow's like, you're a villain, aren't you? Because you're dressed like a devil and whatever. And it was very basic, I think it's fair to say. Do you have any more to say on that?
No.
No, it is exactly what it is. It's a lot of quips. It's a lot of like, you're a bad guy as well, aren't you? Oh no, we're both good guys. Okay, we'll defend each other. And then they beat up all the bad guys. The one little thing I'll give it credit for, which is interesting, is they use a Green Arrow villain called Count Vertigo, who literally gives people vertigo. That is his power.
Excellent.
But that would be the worst thing to happen to Daredevil.
Oh yeah, that would be terrible, wouldn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
So I think that's the one little bit I'll give it credit for, of like, you put some thought into that, and
I mean, maybe that was the one idea that somebody had, and then they just built the rest around it.
I mean, presumably Kevin Smith. And then the other funny thing is, Green Arrow fashions a boxing glove arrow, which is a staple of his, but the glove this is how contrived and cheesy this is. He's like, oh yeah, I just managed to run into this gym, Fogwell's gym, and managed to get this glove that's was owned by someone called Jack Murdoch. I don't know if you've heard of him at all, but that's what I got to save the day. And Daredevil's like, cool,
my daddy's glove.
Yeah. And then they're like, let's go trade secret origin stories, shall we? Yeah. It was bad.
Yeah, it's not good, is it?
It was bad. It was pointless. I wish they hadn't wasted the page space on it. I am a Kevin Smith fan. I don't know if I've made that clear.
I absolutely love Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. I think Clerks is a masterpiece.
I think Clerks 2 I actually like more than Clerks.
Yeah, I can see that.
But I mean, Clerks 2 is the one with the donkey sex show, so obviously it's naturally going to be the better one.
But Clerks 2, Mallrats, Jay and Silent Bob, I have enjoyed all of them at different points in my life.
He got real bad after that.
Yeah.
But less said about that, the better.
He did that. Yeah, the film about the fucking bits being sewn together to make an orca man.
Tusk the Walrus.
Yeah.
And
wasn't that a joke from a podcast he was on that just ended up ended up making into a film?
Basically, yeah. Which I respect the hustle. Like, do that kind of stuff. I'd rather someone be interesting than boring, as we've established many times on this.
Absolutely.
But yeah,
but he was boring here. That's the problem.
This was a 5-minute job, I think, for Kevin Smith, because I do think he's a good writer. I don't think he bothered to put any more of this than he felt was needed.
Yeah,
which was just what'd be a fun villain for both of them to cross over, and what would be the boxing glove Daredevil's dad. Like, let's put Wells' gym right there. Like, I think that was the extent of his thinking with this. So, post this, I think this is one of the ones that you're going to have the least reference to, in that it's basically Rocket Raccoon becoming a Green Lantern.
Yeah, which sort of makes sense because they're from space and so is he.
Yeah, they are both space people. This was the one written by Al Ewing, with arts by
Dakaruan.
Let's stick with. But yeah,
I've never read any Guardians of the Galaxy. We should do some at some point.
I've read a bit of Guardians of the Galaxy. What's interesting is the most kind of well-known, or like, I mean, Guardians, like on the scope of other characters, they weren't very well known before their film.
Yeah.
Like this was a case of, I think, James Gunn with Marvel at the time. They knew, I don't know if he chose it or if he was given it, but I think there must have been someone was a Guardians of the Galaxy fan and wanted to make, or thought it'd be good to make a film about them, but no one was asking for that film, you know?
No.
Barely anyone knew who the characters were. But what's interesting is, all the stories before they became more well-known was a completely different lineup. Like, the characters in the film, they were all Guardians at different points, as far as I'm aware.
But the lineup had never been in the comic books.
Exactly. And now it's the staple lineup because of the film. So I think that much is interesting. But yeah, Rocket Raccoon getting a lantern ring is fun because he's like robbing casinos and stuff, and he's just having a laugh with it. So it's a bit of fun there. Honestly, and this is a 3-page, no, not even 3-page. This is a 2-page long story. Yeah. So they do as much as they absolutely need to for that long. The biggest reference to this, and this to me, knowing the reference, I was like, that's cute, is Hal Jordan going with the Guardians, because it's a cultural exchange thing between these intergalactic security teams or whatever.
Yeah.
Is they're like, oh, the guy you sent us, does he have a thing with was it stealing cosmic hand jewelry? Because I think he's become evil, and what's a parallax? So this whole thing, I think you'll find this interesting. There was a point in the Green Lantern comics where they thought, what if we made Green Lantern go crazy and evil?
Yeah.
So what happened was his city, Coast City, got destroyed by, I think, about an android Superman at the time. Basically, the city he's in is destroyed. Imagine Superman being in destroyed Metropolis like that. And that leads him to go to try and recreate the city with his ring. He's recreated the entire city with like projections from his ring. Kind of like, imagine like someone losing their family and then like putting mannequins in the house. You'd be like, that's
fucking weird.
Something's up with you. And then the Guardians who control the Green Lantern source power, they're like, you shouldn't be doing this. Like, this is like a policeman like abusing their power like this, and it's not healthy. And he's like, fuck you, I'm gonna keep doing it. And if you try and stop me, I'll stop you.
Yeah.
And they're like, we have no choice. We're going to stop you. So he then fights the Guardians and everything and all the other lanterns, starts killing all the other lanterns, collecting their rings, led to an iconic panel of him, I'll see if I can find it, looking particularly crazy while wearing all the rings.
Nice.
Yeah, that was an infamous cover of him being crazy, having killed and stolen the rings from other lanterns so he could keep up this false, whatever, like, fake version of the city of the people he destroyed. Very traumatized by it.
Yeah.
He's like cradling a doll, which was the only thing recovered from
my God.
Yeah, exactly. So understandably went crazy. Then he goes into the source power, the main lantern on whatever it is, becomes all powerful and says, now call me Parallax now, because I'm a bad guy now.
Okay.
So then after that, they were like, oh, wouldn't you believe it? Someone's taken the last little ring power. We found a new lantern. We've found a guy who's going to become a new Green Lantern. This is them being like, let's make a new Green Lantern and he'll be the main character from now on. Character called Kyle Rayner. And then presumably, I don't know this for sure, but presumably the audience went, boo, bring back Hal Jordan.
Right, okay.
So then they went, wouldn't you believe it? We found out Hal Jordan was possessed by a spirit called Parallax, and that's why he did all what he did.
Yeah.
He wasn't evil. He was possessed by an evil thing.
And it's a really cool story that he went insane.
Yeah.
Like, and there was a good reason for it, and it all makes so much sense.
And this was back before, I mean, like, last 10 or 20 years, we've had an influx of, what if Superman went evil?
Yeah.
Like, there's been so much of that. But this was back when it was like, oh my God, you've actually...
Back before that happened.
Back in the day, when they wanted to introduce a new character, they would, like, Batman got his back broken, or Superman died fighting Doomsday. Like, that's when they would trial and error these different versions of the characters. This one, they were like, what if he became a genocidal maniac and became evil? And they did I'm looking just at the cover.
I mean, that looks great, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think we
should read it at some point.
Yeah, it's called Emerald nights or something like that. But yeah, we can give that a read some point. Anyway, that's the joke at the end of the comic is we didn't know we had to watch this guy. He's got an infinity gauntlet.
Yeah.
And he's calling himself Parallax again. So at least in this, they're acknowledging that Parallax is it's just Hal Jordan. He's not being possessed. So good enough for that. And last, oh my God, I forgot what was next. This next one is modern day Frank Miller writing and drawing.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So it's Old Man Logan.
I didn't read this far, I'm going to be honest. So I'm seeing this for the first time. Let's get my live reaction. How many pages is it?
It's 2 pages.
Yeah, just show me. Ryan, it's so bad.
It's real bad.
Oh, my God, look at it.
You know what? I feared that you had read this before. So peek behind the curtain, we recently banked an episode doing The Dark Knight Returns, the epitome of Frank Miller Batman, right? I was scared that you had read this before reading Frank Miller Batman, because this would have been your first exposure to this character.
God, it's awful.
Yeah. This is modern Frank Miller.
And they still get him back to do things.
Yeah, but to the resounding response of comic book readers of like, leave Frank Miller alone. Like, stop getting him in to do stuff, because it's just embarrassing at this point. Do you remember we had spoke before about like old people who keep doing the thing they're famous for, and the Richard Pryor like wheeling him out, and he did like a set and it wasn't funny, but people were just respectful. This is the comic book version of it.
It is, isn't it?
This is stop.
It's the Stones still touring. It's god awful, man.
Yeah, it's stop bringing back Frank Miller. He doesn't need to do this anymore. No one needs this. No one needs to. He doesn't need to do it. We don't need to read it. Like, there's no point in this anymore. So yeah, it's Batman and all. It's Dark Knight Returns Batman and Old Man Logan having a fight. The fight itself is barely a fight. It's literally just outlines of shadows, a random color for the background, the oddest color choices for the what they call them. I can't always, the bang, pow, whoop, those ones. Just the weirdest choices in colors.
I mean, this is almost sublime in how bad it is.
It's almost, I'm not going to say so bad it's good, because it's not good at all. But it's so abstract that it almost looks like postmodern, like art. Like, what's that? The art that uses shapes like a really bad Picasso version of a comic.
It is like postmodern art. There is something a bit postmodern about it.
Yeah. But if something's bad enough, then you don't know what it is. It just becomes postmodern.
We could dedicate an entire hour to a play-by-play, frame-by-frame of this.
I mean, we're going to be doing some real bad... Like, once after we do Dark Knight Returns, we're going to do Dark Knight Returns Part 2, which is years after and is horrifically bad. So we will be doing some bad Frank Miller art. Don't you worry.
Okay.
Just in case you were worried that we weren't going to be looking at some bad comic. And the last bit, I think, was probably the most unenthusiastic I was for this comic, because even the really bad Frank Miller stuff was shockingly bad. So it was interesting. For some reason, they decided we're going to merge the character Lobo and Wolverine and make Logo. And he's mostly Lobo. He just has the Wolverine hair, and he's got claws that, like...
I don't even know who Lobo is.
So Lobo, I was going to bring this up. The main reason to talk about it at all is because Lobo is the character that Jason Momoa will be playing in the Supergirl film coming out next year. So you can kind of tell from this, like, why Jason Momoa would be so good for it.
Yeah, because he's big and buff.
Do you want to repeat that without you on it?
Yeah, because he's very big and very buff and very masculine.
But also, and he's riding a motorcycle, and he smokes a cigar a lot of the time. I don't know if he does in this or not. And also, I don't know why they did this. This is an amalgamation character, right? That was, I don't know if it was the last one, but one of the big DC Marvel crossovers before was they amalgamated characters. So they made a Batman Wolverine and they gave him a name I can't remember. And they merged a bunch of others. And that's interesting in itself. This is not an amalgamation comic. This is a crossover comic. We're crossing over characters. And then in the end, they were like, I don't know, Lobo and Wolverine as one merged as one character.
Yeah,
like,
it just feels a bit lackluster, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't know why they did it. The one bit that made me laugh was they also apparently merged Thanos and Darkseid, and just literally for one appearance where Logo blows something up, a helicopter, and this amalgamated character goes, was that my Thanos side copter? And that's because Thanos does have a Thanos copter.
Does it?
Yeah. I don't think they've used it, in recent times because it's weird, but back in the day, this all-powerful warlord intergalactic villain was like, got a copter named after me, call it Thanos copter. It's got my face on the front. for some reason.
Fucking ridiculous.
That was the one part that made me laugh. Otherwise, I was like, what is the point of this at all? So, thanks. And unfortunately, it was written by Ryan North, who's written a really good Fantastic Four run right now. So he's a very talented writer. I don't know why he chose to do this or why he was given this, but there we go. So anyway, that is the big crossover. Overall thoughts? How are you feeling about the health of the crossover world that we're in
I'm
right
not
now?
keen for them to do another one anytime soon.
Well, that's unfortunate because they will be doing it in about a month or so. But you'll be on paternity leave by then, so we won't be covering it for a while.
Yeah, so I think Captain America and Wonder Woman were worth the price of admission, as was Batman, Deadpool.
Yes.
Everything else is kind
Jeff
of...
the Shark and Krypto.
Jeff the Shark and Krypto. The rest of it was just kind of other ran. It was filler.
Yes.
But it was all filler. That's the thing. It felt like filler.
I think the Frank Miller one, I wouldn't describe as filler, but for the opposite end of the spectrum. Like, it was fascinating to... Again, I wish they would stop bringing him back. But if they are going to bring him back, like, throw in a god-awful, really bad art, pointless story, awful dialogue.
Well, it wasn't even really a story.
They just... But even how they talking about each other, like, at one point, Batman's referring to Wolverine like a dog.
Yeah, Fido.
And I'm like, that's not even... It's bad by Frank Miller's own
How old
standards.
is Frank Miller now, though? He must be in his 80s.
He's definitely pretty old. Let's bring it up. He's only 68, so he's he's not too
we've got
bad.
so much time.
Yeah.
We've got...
He's going to keep writing it.
Potentially, we've got quite a lot of time of bad Frank Miller art.
I mean, we've already got a vault of it to get through already. So please hold off on the Frank Miller bad art for a while while we consume the stuff that's already been made, and then we'll be ready. But
It's
anyway.
just, I think his story is probably one of the most interesting ones going in the comic book industry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, again, he was the biggest heights and the lowest lows.
I think you and I have, like, not publicly, but behind the scenes have had conversations about doing, like, biographies of people and doing that kind of content. I think
Frank Miller would be one of the most interesting to do.
I think Frank Miller, if we do it, Frank Miller or William Moulton Marston should be one of the first.
I mean, or Alan Moore. The first guy has to be Alan Moore for how much we talk about him.
But Frank Miller is up there for me as an interesting character in the industry.
Yes.
With Alan Moore.
Yes. Oh, yeah. And that's why they're, again, the
Rise and Fall, isn't it?
Outside of the Mouse, the two other big known graphic novel comics are Watchmen and Dark Knight Returns. So, yeah, they are considered on par with each other.
Yeah.
And it will almost have a little bit of Alan Moore, and Frank Miller. It's like you either die a hero, or you either stop writing comics while you're still considered great, or you keep going until you become bad again. Like, they are the kind of two ends of that spectrum.
Absolutely, yeah, because Alan Moore hasn't really written a stinker.
Not that we know of.
Not that I've read.
Yeah, although come October, I think a good one for that spooky season was spookier than a Swamp Thing. I think that should be good.
But again, that's revered.
Yeah, no, it's considered fantastic. We'll try and find what is the worst Alan Moore comic.
We'll try
see
and
if we
find
can
the stinker.
You know what it probably is? It's probably his when he wrote on that Crossed series by Garth Ennis. Yeah. The really awful edgelordy series, which I still want to give a read because I'm like, what does Alan Moore's writing on that look like? Yeah. You know? But yeah, so that was the crossover stuff. We are, again, as I said, cutting off early because we have stuff to do. Today's been absolutely manic, and it's going to continue being manic for both of us, I think, following this. So, but you don't need to hear about, the inside of our lives. All you need to deal with is the amazing analysis we give on comic books.
And giving 5-star reviews for that.
Because that's what it's worth, absolutely.
Deserved.
And if you want to write in and tell us how great we are, comiclayer@gmail.com, which you're about to hear in a recording of my voice that comes out after this anyway.
So let's cut to the tape.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye. And thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, then please subscribe to get notified of our future episodes as well. And if you're feeling particularly generous, then please leave a 5-star review on whatever podcast app you're using. If you'd like to get in contact with us, then send an email to comiclayer@gmail.com. You can also watch videos by me on the Comic Stand YouTube page, which is linked in the description. Thank you, goodbye.